We're going to look at the procedure for connecting two different VNets using a VPN connection. Now, you'll want to do this for a couple of reasons. Primarily, if you have two virtual networks in Azure that are in two very distinct different regions, like one in Europe, one in North America, or so on. And it's worth noting that as they develop Azure, there's a notion of using peering instead of VPNs to connect VNets that are in different Azure regions is becoming something they're rolling out more and more. So this procedure may become somewhat irrelevant in the future. Either way, it's a good procedure to know if you have VNets in multiple locations. Now, to get started, we need to understand what we're beginning with. To keep things simple, I've got one resource group, and in that resource group, I've got two different VNets. The fact that they're in the same resource group doesn't change the procedure, changes nothing. This is just to keep things neat and tidy so you can see everything. Additionally, I've got two virtual machines. I've got S1, S2. Now, S1 is on VNet 1, S2 is on VNet 2. Each VNet has a couple of subnets, so it's a pretty standard setup. They've got two subnets, and you can see here that we've got an interface that's connected to this subnet. This interface is, of course, connected to the virtual machine S1, and so that's how everything is wired together. Two separate VNets, each with a simple subnet and then a virtual machine. Let's go connect to those virtual machines. I'm going to use my Ubuntu instance I'm running here on Windows 10 to connect to each of these. So just so we can see the effects of the VPN. So here's the first one. This will connect to S1. I need to get its IP address. So just grab its IP address, and we're going to SSH. And just go ahead and connect to it. And you can see it's got an IP address here, which is 10014. Let's do the same thing for S2. Grab its IP address. And go connect to it. We can see it's 11014. And if we just pull these over, I'm going to dock these two console sessions side by side. We can see that from 11, I'm sorry, say from 10 here, I can't ping 11, and from 11, I cannot ping 10. And so we're going to rectify that by connecting these two VNets using an Azure VPN connection. So let's get started. Well, to do this one VNet at a time, the procedure is identical for both virtual networks. So we're going to go back to my resource group, and we'll take VNet 1. And the steps are quite simple. Step 1 is I have to deploy my gateway subnet. And so this is a special subnet that it's fairly automatic. You click it, click OK, it just creates the gateway subnet. This is necessary to actually add the gateway, and it takes just a second. So we add the gateway subnet. The next thing that we want to do is we want to add our virtual network gateway. So we're going to go to the marketplace, and we're going to look for a gateway, and we're going to select the Microsoft Virtual Network Gateway and create it. It's going to be a fairly simple process. Give it a name. We're going to call this one VNet 1 Gateway. It's a route-based gateway. The SKU indicates how powerful the gateway is, which is a matter of how much traffic it can handle. You can review the documentation to kind of get a gauge of what each one basically means. Choose the virtual network it's connected to. This is VNet 1. It needs a public IP address, so we'll create that. Just accept the defaults for it. It's the simplest thing to do. And then once that's done, go ahead and click Create. Now, they're not joking when they say this may take up to 45 minutes. It actually does. So we're going to let this one run. We'll go to our second gateway. So exact same procedure. Here's VNet 2. Add our gateway subnet. and then deploy the gateway. And similar process, this is going to be VNet 2 gateway. Connected to VNet 2. Assign it a public IP address. And go ahead and click Create. Now we're going to let these guys create in the background, and essentially I'm going to pause the recording, come back in about an hour. Just give these things time to create, and then we'll go ahead and finish up, connect the two gateways together, and we'll see that these pings will be able to continue. All right, we've let some time pass. Our VPN connections are now created. Well, sorry, not our connections, but our VPN gateways are now created. So we've got VNet 1 gateway, which is right here, and VNet 2 gateway, which is right here. So to finish connecting our two VNets so that these two VMs can ping each other, we're going to go ahead and create what are called connection objects. So we'll go to each individual gateway. So we'll go to the gateway. I just went to the IP address by mistake. So here's our VNet 1 gateway. And we'll go to connections. And we just need to configure two connections. One that goes from 1 to 2. One that goes from 2 to 1. So this is to VNet 2. Starting VNet 1, second network gateway is going to be our VNet 2 gateway. And we need a shared key. Now we're going to go back while that connection creates, go to our second of the two gateways, and create the connection going in the other direction. To VNet 1. Actually, let me think, I just made an error. This is to VNet 2. Here's VNet 2. This is on VNet 1. So we need to go to VNet 2. Yeah, I just misclicked. Scroll down, VNet 2. There we go. That's the public IP. We'll get this right. There's the gateway. Connections. Add. There we go. To VNet 1. Matching key. Click OK, and it will go ahead and create that second connection. Now, it'll take these connections just a couple of seconds to come online, and when they do, we should see these pings, there we go, start to go through just about immediately. So there you have it. That's a site-to-site VPN that connects two VNets using Azure Virtual Network gateways.